My dear friends, in conclusion, I have one small duty, an agreeable one. Many of you might not know that the Australian government has insisted upon a certain rental, which we Americans must pay for the use of this base. As a businessman, I must admit that the rent is very reasonable. It is, in fact, precisely 1 peppercorn per year to be paid upon demand. Now, our friendly Australian landlords haven't yet demanded their rent, but we Americans want to always be good tenants. We want you to know that we pay our bills promptly. Here then, Mr. Prime Minister, I want to present you with 1 peppercorn payment in full for the first year's rent. I thank you very much.
Now, so far as the necessity for our presence, I think that the presence of the United States, economically, politically, even sociologically, as well as militarily, is a good thing in Asia. It stabilizes things. It enables the countries to go on about their business without the threat of external domination.
If you love independence, clap your hands. If you love independence, if you love independence, if you love independence, clap your hands. Yankee, go home! Yankee, go home!
The 200 demonstrators ranged in age from 4 to 70 and included Australians born in England, Italy, Greece and Ireland, as well as a contingent of black Australians. The Aborigines knew that their struggle for land rights was closely connected to the fight to expel foreign powers from Australia. A group from New Zealand also came to lend a hand. They'd succeeded in kicking the US Omega base out of their country, and now they wanted to get foreign bases right out of the Pacific region. Every night saw a new campsite and an opportunity to kick around new ideas for the street theatre.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to join this woman to this man in holy bondage. Will you, Matilda, go all the way with the USA, for better or for worse? Will you love and obey?
I will.
Quite a few people expected to see this man, Charles Court, standing with his police at the West Australian border. Court, noted for his connections with Japanese and US mining interests, had said that as Premier, he wouldn't let the buses into West Australia. But as it turned out, he seemed more intent on not letting the demonstrators out of the state. Closely followed by Court's police throughout their time in the West, more than 50 were to be locked up by the state government. And despite all the multinational power and wealth behind him, Court and his police really seemed to feel threatened by the 200-odd people that gathered in the Perth Esplanade to demonstrate against the existing US bases and the proposed Soviet ones. And what in other circumstances would have been a small and uneventful demonstration turned into a major confrontation. The demonstrators found that the best way to counter the lies and distortions of the daily press was to go direct to the townspeople.
Of course it's just a police tie made to help our shipping market. Charlie says I'm not to blame if it's a sitting target. Yankee Doodle, Uncle Sam, domination is his plan. Watergate has tipped the can, Yankee Doodle dandy. Omega's specially designed for use beneath the ocean, but afraid the sailing upside down sure is a crazy notion. Yankee missile submarines use it to fire their warheads. Why should we help Uncle Sam to cause 1 million more dead? Yankee Doodle, Uncle Sam, domination is his plan. Nixon's in an awful jam, Yankee Doodle dandy. Dum-da-da-dum-da-da-dum-dum-da, dum-da-da-dum-da-da-dum-dum-da. We don't want Omega here or any other bases. Take Northwest Cape and Pine too and send them all to places. Yankee Doodle, Uncle Sam, his damnation is our plan. Ozzy soon will make him scram, Yankee Doodle dandy.
In the mornings there was a routine. Organise breakfast, strike the tents, pack everything into the bus, collect the stragglers and try to ignore the police escort. It's named after an Australian Prime Minister, but the Harold E. Holt Naval Communications Station is actually a little piece of America. And these Australians are trespassing. It's from these radio masts that the order for US submarines to fire their missiles will come, unless, of course, the base isn't as safe and isolated as the US government thinks.
When Todd's government heard we were coming, they nodded their knickers. Because the Long March has exposed who runs this country. The Yanks do. Court must have half the scabby coppers in this country up here. And Whitlam sent a plane load too. This base is the proof of US imperialism, state control over Australia. And it's the proof of superpower contention between Russia and America that will lead to war. We don't want any part of it. We want independence. And the only way to get that is to fight for it. Fight like the Eureka Stockade. Fight like Ned Kelly. Fight like the Ford workers. Independence for Australia.
There were many meetings during the 3 days at the Cape, meetings to work out tactics and symbolic acts. One focused on the peppercorn, originally paid as rent for the base, that the demonstrators claimed to have liberated from a Defence Department filing cabinet in Canberra. They planned to return the peppercorn and march on the base to claim it back in the name of the Australian people.
Raise the question of the people.
When the time came to march on the base, they carried with them the symbol of Australian independence, the blue and white Eureka flag. But the police were here to defend the Stars and Stripes.
If you hate the US Navy, if you hate the US Navy. If you hate the US Army, clap your hands. If you hate the US Army, if you hate the US Army, if you hate the US Army, clap your hands.
Hate Richard Nixon, clap your hands.
If you hate Richard Nixon, clap your hands.
Personnel are now telling us what we can do on our land. I think at the moment it would be appropriate to show them just exactly what we think of their bloody government and their army and their navy taking us over.